All right, just made it to Portland in Oregon, America. Just came from Minnesota. I was visiting family over there for a week and was kind of dock starting, and then yeah, now ready to downwind in the gorge. This week, I think we just got the forecast and it looks really good. It looks like from tomorrow we've got 30 knot winds, I think, for the whole week, so super excited. And I'm actually waiting at the airport for a couple hours because Eric Antonson's coming from Florida, and I'm gonna hop in his car and get a lift to the gorge. So super excited to meet him. Feel like I talk to him every second day, so it's gonna be cool to meet him in person. One thing that really fucked me before coming here was that in the airport in Minnesota, the Delta ground staff charged me $230 for my prone board bag. So the size of a boogie board bag from LF Supply, like it's tiny, like half the size of a normal surfboard bag. And they rinsed me. They said that like they had some weird rule that for domestic flights in America, you have to be under 66 lineal inches when you measure it from the length to the width to the thickness, which I just can't even wrap my head around, because how the fuck are people supposed to travel with anything bigger than a standard suitcase size? Doesn't matter if you're a surfer or whatever, like how the hell are you supposed to travel? My ticket from Minnesota to Portland was only like 150 bucks, and my excess baggage was 230. This is American dollars, so I'm getting fucking rinsed. But anyway, forget about that. Here now, so let's see what happens.
This is Brian Finch. We're in Hood River. We're actually at Rufus today with the whole Unifoil team, and the wind is cranking. We're out there. Woo!
Yeah, I literally went home for like 2 weeks and like worked.
Sie hören eine Sonderdurchsage der Polizei. Das Bundeskriminalamt gibt Ihnen Gelegenheit, Gespräche der an den Morden in Köln und der Entführung Ermordung des Dr. Schleier beteiligten Terroristen zu hören und bittet um Ihre Unterstützung. Hören Sie sich bitte die jetzt folgenden Stimmen in Ruhe an und achten Sie besonders auf die Eigenarten des Tonfalls, der Ausdrucksweise und der Sprachfärbung. Aufzeichnung 1.
Was wird denn zurück sein? Können Sie ihm vielleicht etwas ausrichten? Ich möchte ihm gerne eine Mitteilung des Kommandos Siegfried Hausner machen. Ich werde in ungefähr einer Stunde nochmal an. Ich bedanke mich.
Aufzeichnung 2.
Die Regierung gibt heute Morgen einen Herrn Pajot abgegriffen und hat folgenden Wortlaut. Er wird Ihnen noch schriftlich zugehen.
Aufzeichnung 3.
Hallo, wer spricht das bitte? Ja, wir sind leider eben unterbrochen worden. Sie hatten den Text bis richtig. Nun, das werden Sie zur gegebenen Zeit erfahren. Das Ganze ist unterschrieben mit Kommando Siegfried Hausner und trägt das Datum 12.09.77. Dazu ist dann noch eine Bemerkung zu machen. Das wäre für Sie sicherlich interessant und das wäre dann auch alles in die Gedanken.
Aufzeichnung 4.
Ich möchte nur eine Mitteilung zum Kommando Siegfried Hausner.
Seats are so uncomfortable, too. You never realize it. I guess I might as well go do my makeup. In case we get out of this thing, I'll put those pictures. It's my only claim to fame this fall. Yeah, this may be your only contribution to being alive. Think anyone's worried about you? Think anyone's worried about you?
Die Stimmen erkannt zu haben, teilen Sie bitte Ihre Wahrnehmung der Polizei mit.
Job well done.
Sie können zu
Like it was the first session.
Is everybody in?
Made it, buddy.
Made it.
Are we good to go?
What would you call this, Dane? Like out of 10?
What was this?
What would you call this out of 10?
5.
This is a 5.
Are you kidding?
Really?
Insane.
Nah, I had a moment out there where I was standing and just looking around and going, holy shit, I'm surfing in a river. Or foiling in a river. First initial thoughts, Rufus to, it's like the boat ramp down there. My first time downwinding in Hood River. And I've used to doing like bay runs and stuff where it's like a controlled area, but having a river run through with the wind going the opposite direction and just creating all these crazy troughs, it's different. It's different to what I've done in the ocean. It's different to what I've done in bays. It's like a complete new sport. But I can see why too long of a board can be a hindrance, because what I notice is the troughs are so close together that when you paddle up, you want to take off and go diagonal, or nearly, even if you do shoot it straight, you want to take off straight and literally zip left or right straight away, because or else you literally just go, it's like a half pipe, you're just going to go straight up it and then stall out. But what's really cool is that it starts off gradual here at Rufus, like where it's just like, you know, knee high, waist high bumps, and then by the time you go like 300 feet down the river, it turns into like proper 6 foot overhead crazy lumps. Amazing, but I don't think it's a good place to test gear. No, because it's too good, dude. It's too good. You could ride the shittest foil here ever and like it'd be amazing.
Typifizierung und der Festnahme der Täter beitragen. Ihren Hinweis nimmt jede Polizeidienststelle entgegen. Ihre Mitteilungen werden auf Wunsch vertraulich behandelt. Wir bedanken uns für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ende der Durchsage.
Wait. All right, Marcela, how are you?
Hello! I'm good. Welcome to my
show us
bus.
your home. Yeah, yeah.
I call it bus, but I should say welcome to my house because I live here. So I have a dog, so we have like, it's kind of messy, but. So here.
So what are we in? Are we in the living room right now?
Yeah. Here's like, everything is everything because it's a bus, so we don't have like a specific space for kitchen, like living room or room. But we work here, our couch, most of our kiteboards and surfboards are
Oh,
here.
they all fit up here. Nice.
Depending on the trip we go, if we need more space for surfboards, we can move this and put like five or six surfboards here.
Yeah.
Or kitchen.
Beautiful. Did you guys do this yourself, or did you buy it like this?
I built it like a couple years ago.
Wow.
Our batteries, they're all here. Looks like we have a lot of space, but not that much because the batteries, they take like half of the bus. The bathroom, it's kind of storage at the same time because I put a lot of things in the shower and I have to move all the time. I have to shower.
Yeah, yeah.
Composting
Perfect.
toilet and the room.
Lovely.
And more boards here. And foils everywhere.
And how long have you been in the bus now for? A month?
A month now. My plan is like live full time here, just go back to Brazil to visit and come back here. But for now, we're just kind of like trying to understand how it's gonna happen. So a month.
Yeah. Nice. What's your visa sitch?
My what? Sorry.
Visa situation. Is it just you're just on the?
Sorry,
Are you just on the? Sorry, that was Aussie language. Is it just you on the tourist visa?
I have 6 months a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Perfect.
but
Oh,
it's
is that the B1?
I don't know.
Something.
It's a tourist visa, and it's okay because I have to travel for like brands and competition. So at the end, 6 months is what I have. So
Oh, it's probably the athlete visa, I think.
me?
Yeah.
No, it's a tourist visa.
Oh, it is a tourist visa. It must be the B1 then.
It's for Brazilians. It's 6 months. 6 months.
Lucky.
I don't know why.
Oh, come on, mate. Fuck.
Oh.
All right, Mike, you've had a couple warm-ups, a couple 2-mile warm-ups, and we're about to send the 8-mile silo run. What are you thinking, dude?
Oh my god, I'm just geeking so hard. I can't even get it together right now. Like, I can't even get it together.
Don't put your mask on backwards like I did because I was freaking out so hard.
Yeah, so tell us the setup, dude.
So Hood's way different than I thought it was gonna be. Like when we were booking the trip, we're like, oh, we want to be right down there, right in front of, like, what is it, the Hatchery? And it turns out that, you know, we're an hour away from the Hatchery right now up in Rufus. This is the silo run we're about to do.
So why are we at Rufus, but why aren't we at the Hatchery?
I don't really know. I don't know
but
anything.
Didn't we get told that like this picks up wind before like the places down in Hood River do?
They say you look at the clouds, and where the clouds are low, then you do something different.
Yeah.
I have no idea. TJ and Brian told me to come here, and it's been incredible. So
It's definitely blowing right now.
yeah,
What do you reckon? 20 knots? 30?
easy 20.
Yeah.
25 to 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different sport out here.
Right.
It's insane.
So what is this run? This one from like this silo down to back to Rufus?
This is like an 8-mile run.
Yeah. And it's kind of
through the bridge. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Then it gets kind of funky after the bridge, and then it gets really good. like for the back half of the run, it's just unbelievable.
And actually, even though you say it's 8 miles, it feels like 12 miles because you're going so slow, even though it feels like you're going fast.
We were looking at Damo clocked his yesterday, and it felt like we were going so fast, and he was doing 6-minute miles.
Wow.
And back home when it's slow, we're doing 4.5, 5-minute miles. And this is, you know, 30% faster probably. But that's cool because you just get more foil time.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's what I wasn't like trying to get there fast. I was just trying to go like zigzag as much as possible, get more time on foil.
Yeah. Amping. Let me see that tool, Damo. Secret shit, dude.
Put the M2O wrap on that.
Get the pillowcase out. Nah, yesterday I found the 140 progression to be like really good for this stuff here at Hood River. Sorry, at Rufus. I paired it with my 14 Shiv, and the pop-ups were simple, super easy, able to surf as hard as I wanted to, and I even take bumps if I needed to, but also just stay with it because we're not racing here. We're just kind of cruising. Today I'm switching it up and gonna put the 14.5 progression tail on just to see if I can feel a difference. It's a tiny bit more high aspect, that tail, and a bit thinner, so should be a little bit more glidier. But yeah, just gonna test it out.
Oh my lord, dude. Let me see this hat. Oh my gosh.
Mate, they weren't drawn on, they fucking developed.
This is burnt in. Built for speed, this guy. You out there, Banner? Yeah. So we're at Rufus here today. Wind is about 25 to 30, pretty steady. And I'm gonna ride the 170. I'm a $165, so the 170 is pretty much my to-go wing here on the river, just for carving.
Go-to.
It's my go-to wing here on the river for. What'd I say?
To go.
My to-go wing. It is my to-go wing, dude. All right, I don't like where this is going.
daunting.
Yeah.
So halfway through the ride, I was like, I wish I was in trunks. Like,
The spring suit's pretty money right now.
tell us first thoughts on your
Oh my god.
first day here.
Unbelievable.
Why?
This is so different, man. This is just a different game.
Have you surfed in a river before?
No. This is a totally different game. I've never done chums. Oh, you never? I've never done chums. That's right. No, man.
Oh, is that a river? That wave that you...
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but dude, this is mental. Yeah, it's totally mental.
How was your run, Dane?
Legit.
You were riding the 110.
Yeah.
In a river.
Up on that like nothing.
Yeah, it's not
that was
bad.
epic.
As long as you can like surf down the wave, then you have plenty
Yeah.
of speed. It's so good. A little hectic with the tiny tail, but
What?
Yeah, you were on a
Tiny?
20.
20.
Yeah, shit.
No extension.
Yeah.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Bit pitchy.
Yeah. It's fun.
What else? Cody?
What else?
How was your run?
Oh, runway.
Getting blown downwind.
We missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going back up. Yeah, we're not going to Rufus. Okay, I'll turn around.
Thanks.
Hey, Marcela. What are you doing? Good run?
Was so fun.
Were you hanging on or what were you doing?
I'm trying to survive.
Survive.
Yeah.
You're surviving.
I see you guys like turning and having fun, and I was like,
You were turning too.
Go
I
far,
seen
go
you
far.
going like from the Washington side over to the Oregon side. Yeah. Yeah, you took off.
Yeah, I was like, she's gone.
let's do it again.
Nobody told me this was a race.
Right, Dane, introduce yourself. We'll try not make it too formal. But no, this is Dane Wilson. You've probably seen his stuff on Insta. He is one of the Salty Brothers. We're hanging out here in Oregon, and Dane is an amazing filmer, cinematographer, and he's helping us get some content for the uni shoot.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm Dane. This is my bus.
I heard it's Marcela's.
It's Marcela's, but we share it now, you know, 50-50.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. No, yeah. It's been sick. I've been in Hood River for like a month now, and super fun to ride, and like when I first got here, I was just like amping to get out like every 2 seconds, and now I got my 60 knot day out of the way, and now I'm just like, okay, we're chilling. Stoked to be like shot Brian for flight like 2 days ago.
Oh, did you guys do a flight shoot here?
Yeah.
Sick.
And
Oh, is that
then-
why Cody's here?
No, unrelated.
Yeah.
Just because you're here.
Yeah. But yeah, I did that, and then I've been shooting for F1 for a little bit. We did some stuff with Chris McDonald, messing around with some sick like jet ski gimbal stuff for Cross Shore Media. They're dope. And now the uni shoot, and then I don't know, all the F1 guys show up, so I might do some more F1 stuff, and then got my stuff, and then obviously editing all this stuff too. So
Do you do like another day-to-day job besides your like, you know, shooting for foiling pretty much now?
I on the side, so I grew up sailing like full time, and I was doing that until like 2 years ago or something, and my photography was my side job, or not even a job, just a hobby.
You just liked it.
Liked it, and then so I'm still really involved with all the U.S. sailing, American Magic.
What
American
sailing
now.
were you doing?
So I grew up doing like Opties, 29ers, stuff like that, and then the last little bit I did, I guess, 2 Olympic campaigns. I did 2 in the 49er, 1 as a skipper, 1 as a crew, and then I did a little bit with the Formula Kite as well. And so that all stopped, yeah, like 2 years ago.
Right.
So now I'm all
Why did it stop?
straight.
COVID?
No, I got like inches away from qualifying for the Olympics. So we won our qualifier, and the country just didn't have a spot, and we didn't go, which sucks. But
That sucks, dude.
it sucks, but like it's one of those things where like I'd like to have the pretty little medal, like I went to the Olympics, but like I did what I wanted to do. I achieved my goal, which was get to the Olympics. Sucked. I wish I could have gone, but it's not. It's whatever. I'm like, I don't know if I would be here if I'd gone to the Olympics. So, and I'm super happy where I am right now.
Yeah, you might not have been foiling. You might just be still sailing.
Might be still sailing,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like you
yeah.
do well at the Olympics, then it's like, okay, we're going next year.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy where I ended up, and it's, yeah, I mean, I'm just like messing around in Hood River. Like,
I was gonna say, you live the life. You just did the Molokai race. You're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Now you're in Hood. Ventura's home.
Ojai, California is
Yeah.
my home, but honestly, I haven't spent much time there.
Yeah.
Like,
And then like Marcela's from Brazil, so you guys are bouncing between South
Yeah.
America here.
we
You
try
were
to do like 6 months there, 6 months
yeah.
here, and yeah, we bounce around. We have 2 trips coming up for F1. They're like full trips. One's to Madagascar, and then one I think is to New Zealand. And then in between those 2, I go to Miami for some of that sailing coaching.
Oh, cool.
There, so
Dude, that's rad to be able to do like, you know, what you love, filming and stuff with the thing that you love, like foiling. You just
it's
nailed
hard
it.
to separate like work and life though,
Yeah.
sometimes. You know,
Like, do you miss today how you're seeing us ride, but you're filming?
No, like that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
as long as I get it out of my system and
Yeah.
I ride a bunch, then when the day comes to film, I'm like super happy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when I'm riding, I'm like thinking of the shots that I would like to get of myself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
then like, and I really
Hey,
enjoy.
something's burning.
Not technically, but I'm supposed to be making peanut butter jelly.
I was like, keep going. Just keep talking.
Burn
Yeah.
down the house.
That's honestly why when I was hitting you up, you know, because you're my mate, but like I was also like I want to get some content, and I love your creative direction already.
Yeah.
Like that's why like I was just like, you tell me what shot you want to get, because like, you know, I'll be the fucking the model for you or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's half the time just thinking about it, and I love like you think about it and then you execute it, and then you. So there's a couple shots actually that I've wanted to get downwinding, like really close where you can see the waves, and I got that today, so I'm pretty stoked
Oh,
on
sick.
that. So
Fuck
I'm like,
yeah.
hell yeah, like. And then yeah, the bigger stuff is just like practice, and as you said, the like I did the Molokai and we did a big film for that, and I'm editing that, and I'm just trying to like, what story do you tell? Because I have so much. It's like,
Yeah.
it's nice to actually pick and choose what you want to tell instead of like just.
Yeah, you got creative direction, right? Yeah, well, art direction, whatever it is. Yeah.
So, and then last week we got to play with some sick cameras, and like I got to direct because we had a drone guy that was a really good drone pilot.
Sick.
So there's a lot going on, and it's sick. But then some months you just go like the whole month, and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so like, I don't know. Last year I was in.
I feel like there's nearly somewhat of a foil circuit now, though.
Yeah.
Which is what you're pretty much following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then I have a bunch of friends like in the kite tour as well. So like.
Oh yeah.
I want to go like hang out with them and do their trips, and like. So it's. I mean, it's just all water sports.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was saying is like it's hard to like sometimes you just have to go foil and not think about work at all, because like my work is foiling.
Yeah.
And what I enjoy doing, so it's kind of like this.
You know, I love getting this content, but what's sick sometimes, and you probably know this too, is like when you just go on a solo run, no GoPro, no bullshit, and you just fucking like that's when you hit that flow state, I reckon. Yeah.
But downwinding with a boat next to you sucks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well,
like,
even
I don't even want. What am I downwinding? This sucks because like if you take downwinding to like a 10 seconds of downwinding, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like there's not a great wave.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But you put like an hour of downwinding together, and it's like the most blissful, like zen thing ever.
Totally.
And then you put a boat and you put a camera, and then you just like start, stop. You know. It's
Yeah.
Like, just ruin the magic of downwinding is like just that consistent like.
You're trying to achieve a shot to portray what you feel when there's no camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it. Ah, cheers for that. That was sick.
Sick, dude.
Trying to portray how fucking sore we are.
How's it going? My name's Jason Toth.
how do I introduce myself? 48, middle age, kind of have a dad bod, trying to lose it, trying to get fit.
You come from a professional sporting background.
Yeah, I used to be a pro snowboarder back in the day.
Do you snowboard anymore?
With my kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
But what do you do for you?
For me, foiling. I'm addicted to foiling as everyone else is.
That's
watching
insane.
This thing. It's literally changed my life. I was getting kind of bored. Anyway, foiling saved my life. Gave me something to do.
Do you get the same feels foiling than you would like when you were snowboarding in your prime?
Yeah, it's like snowboarding and powder, but you're on the water.
Yeah.
And it's warm. It's kind of like, you know, yoga, mental, physical. You get exercise. You get to, you know, ride that wave energy and, you know, be one with it. So it's similar to like snowboarding, big backcountry stuff. That's what I liked. So big drops, powder is the same kind of like just flowy feel. You get in that flow state and just kind of play around. So it's very similar, and I'm very front foot pressure.
Do you feel like because you're used to the front foot pressure that translates to the foiling versus like a lot of people who come from surfing and they're very back foot orientated?
Definitely. Like I tried back. I'm getting better at it, but I've never really done back foot because the surfing I've done is just more like, you know, what do I say? Like, you know, bigger boards, like, you know, in the 6 to 7 foot, like little mini longboard style, like egg shape.
Yeah.
And some, you know, fish and just that kind of style. I wasn't into like shortboard ripping. I just didn't get it enough days doing that. So I was never really back foot pressure even when I surfed. Because I just snowboarded for so long. But yeah, I used to be really heavy front foot, like just crazy heavy. All my friends just freaked out because I was just sending you to the moon. And then I've just been trying, you know, following you guys and stuff, just trying to get more neutral in the tail and just start getting used to more back foot. I was having a lot of issues with my turns, my bottom turns, that I just bury the nose. So I had to just have more lift just to help me round it out because I wasn't really putting any pressure on the back foot. I was just kind of releasing my front foot to adjust my elevation and my pitch control. So now I'm in between, and it's worked really well. Things are faster, pumps better.
So you did that by shimming, did you? Like up, like
yeah,
more
I just
degrees?
did it all by shimming
Yeah.
up, and then and that was like when I first learned. In the past, like I would say half a year, I've been really learning to just shim it down, time behind, just to get that pump efficiency, and then you know I'd still bury it a bit, so then just consciously getting it in my head of putting more back foot when I'm, you know, doing a bottom turn, and just getting more in tune with the board, and now starting to get more slightly offset so I can get the roll better and quicker, which is really helpful from all you guys, just all the stuff you guys put on either the podcast or the YouTubes or Instagram, and just all those little tips and tricks really help because, man, you can spend a lifetime trying to learn the sport. There's so many disciplines, they're so different. So it's nice that you guys share that information. Because guys like this don't know what we're doing.
Como yeah.
All right, Dom, where are we at?
Morning, you guys. What's up, Josh? We're here at Hood River, Oregon. We're sitting on the Gorge River today. It's going to be an epic day. Little light winds compared to the way it's been the last couple of days. The boys have absolutely just scored downwinding. But today is a new day. We're here for the AWSI show. It's our second year here. Wow, what a difference a year makes. It's the least I can say. So super stoked to have everyone here.
So TJ, what are we at today? What's going on?
So this is day 2 of AWSI, the trade show here in Hood River, and I'm here at the Unifoil booth checking out all the new goodies for next year, including this beautiful downwind board, which is going to work awesome here in the gorge. Man, they've got the full spread though, like one of the most user-friendly progressive foils called the Progression, a full lineup of wings, from downwind boards to prone boards to this unique one here, the Quiver Killer. I think the Unifoil is, they're bound to set a statement here going into 2024.
Wow.
We've been super stoked on the product so far for 2023, but it looks like it's just starting to grow. And yeah, it's super cool guys, great team, awesome brand to be working with up at Bigwinds, and yeah, keep it going guys.
So you got a shop here in town. How long have you had the shop for now?
So Bigwinds started back in 1987 actually, in the early windsurfing days.
Okay.
And then came kiteboarding, then came SUP and downwind SUP, then came SUP foil, and then came winging.
Wow.
We've been SUP foiling here a little bit longer than winging, but now it's finally being developed to be a little bit more accessible, so I can finally like gain some friends to join me on the river.
So has AWSI been around for that long as well?
AWSI, I don't know how many years it's been here. I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5. The trade show's been working out pretty well, but I gotta say this year was extra special because the wind delivered, it's been great weather, and a lot of people from all over the world have shown up, and yeah, it's just great to see familiar faces.
What would you say the vibe is like in terms of, say, 3 years ago to this year's event? Is it busier? Is there, obviously there's more foils around,
yeah,
but like...
I would say it's definitely busier.
Yeah.
I think people are starting to realize that the gorge is a hot spot for foiling.
For sure.
And so they kind of want to come out here and experience it for themselves.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know, the sport is growing and going in so many different directions, you know, like for foiling, it started back in 2013 for us up at Bigwinds with kite foiling. And then wind foiling came around, then SUP foiling came around. And now it's just going in so many different directions. I mean, people are getting towed out here right now as we speak and winging in super light wind conditions. Like,
what do you, like, from a person who's probably done everything now, what do you opt for when the conditions are good? Like, what are you grabbing?
Right here.
You're grabbing a SUP foil.
Right here, man. This is my absolute favorite thing. Like, if the leaves are, you know, moving in the trees, I don't even have to look at the wind graph to see what the wind is blowing. I just know if it's blowing in the right direction, I'm going.
Right.
And so I don't have to, you know what wing to rig or what size kite to rig or sail to rig. It's just, I throw my board, my foil, my paddle and leash into the van, and I'm on the water and having a blast.
And what's the season here? Is it all year round? Just summer?
We have extended it to make it all year round, yes. And some of us are a little bit, you know, crazy to adapt to the winter conditions.
Yeah.
The full-blown 5/4 hooded wetsuit, the
Holy
gloves,
shit.
the boots. But we go like in the middle of January and February when the water temperature is well below 40 degrees.
Is there snow on these, like,
snow
sides?
on all the hills,
wow.
ice on the banks of the river.
No
but I'll
way.
tell you one thing, Josh, like I can't kite and wing in the winter, but I can downwind SUP foil all winter long.
Wow.
I don't get cold because my face isn't in the wind.
Yeah.
I get colder up on Mount Hood waiting in a chairlift
Totally.
or on the chairlift skiing than I do downwind SUP foiling here in the winter.
So what's the temp then? Is it like 34, like the water?
Yeah, water temp gets
35?
just above freezing. It's like between 35 and 40. And then the air temp when it's blowing easterly, which it does a lot in the winter months, that's usually when it's like between 35 and 40 degrees.
Wow.
When it's blowing westerly, that's when it's, you know, the rare 40 degree to 50 degree air temps, and those are great, but they're just far and few in between.
Right.
So we go that way, and we do a lot of downwinding from...
Oh, you go with the current?
Going with the current, yeah.
And is that not as steep?
It's not as steep, so
okay.
you need even more wind, right?
Right.
So we go when it's super windy, and usually the east winds, like down by Stevenson, they're blowing 35 to 45 from the east.
Wow.
And it's totally doable. It's a blast. I will say that when the water temperature gets colder, it's more evident with the foil than it is like saltwater to freshwater combination. Like when the water gets like 37 degrees, it's harder to pump out here.
Really?
It makes it a little bit more, I would say, just dense and thicker.
Is there science behind that, or is that just from feel?
I think it's proven. I'm pretty sure that there is science behind it that proves that the density of the water is more significant when it hits a certain temperature, under 40 degrees, than the density between saltwater and freshwater.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
I foiled Lake Superior last year in winter, and it was like those conditions, like it was snowing when I was on the river, in the lake, and I was riding like a 170, and it was probably like a day that we had at Rufus, like big, like rollers. But it felt like my foil didn't have enough foil. Like I could have done with a bigger size.
Yeah, so we ride bigger sizes in the winter for sure. And we're going with the current versus against the current. So against the current,
doesn't give you
there's
as much
a little
lift.
bit more lift, right?
Yeah.
With the current, not as much.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely different in the winter months.
Wow.
But
I like it. It keeps it interesting.
It keeps it interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I mean, we're all frothing for it out here, and the group just keeps expanding and growing. It's not just me and two other guys anymore like it was 6 years ago. It's like there's a solid group. Our text thread is probably 15 deep at this point.
Crazy.
And we're finally able to run shuttles like on a daily basis out here.
I love it.
Sweet.
It's a really good vibe. Every time I go on the hatch, there's people just like hop in, or like, you know, there's people just always going up and down that road.
Oh yeah,
like,
there's a reason I traded my pickup truck out for a big van. You know, like, you got to contribute one way or another.
Yeah, perfect. No, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Yeah,
thanks.
Legend.
Quick step over.
Yeah, the last like 3 minutes. Just custom the whole thing.
I got smoked by a boat wake. I didn't make it under the bridge. Yeah, there's a boat started this side of me. Yeah. What are you doing over here?
All right, so we just wrapped up a week here in Hood River for the AWSI. Just going to go through like a recap of exactly what the event's about, how it went, what gear we rode, and what's exciting for next year. Dom's the boss of Unifoil. He has like a huge background in sales, so he knows these trade shows, he knows what to look for, the new trends that are developing, and yeah, it was a super like good weather for the week. We were really lucky because this time of year it can be really spotty, and I think the last 2 years there was no wind at all. Yeah. So we got really lucky. We scored Rufus, which is a spot maybe an hour away from Hood River. That is, I think, the spot that people go to because the runs are longer, and I think the bumps are just bigger out there. So we all were greeted by that, which was really rad. We had 2 days doing that. The whole, like, a majority of the Unifoil team came over. So we had Eric, we had Brian, we had Pedigo, and we had another friend, Jason, who rocked up. So
Cooper.
Oh, and Cooper, sorry, Paul Coops. So yeah,
Pedigo was there.
It was rad having all the team together because, you know, we've all spoke to each other on the internet, but to have like those interactions in person and see how each other, like, you know, it's a bit of like a stalk where you're kind of like seeing each other, how they ride, because, you know, you only see the highlights on Instagram or whatever, but it was cool to really feel everyone out and see their style, their approach. Everyone's kind of got a different line with like the downwinding, which we were majority doing, and yeah, it was cool just to ride together. So I don't know, Dom, what do you think? How did the week go for you?
Oh, the week was absolutely epic. I mean, I've done this show a couple years now, and, you know, 2 years ago we literally had rain and no wind. Last year we had really light wind, 1 day from the west, and then a couple days from the east, but very light and smoky. So to show up this year, first day up here, and have just nuking wind, I think it was like 30 or 60 miles an hour the first day before you guys rolled in, and it's rad. We've had it every day since. So to be able to be a part of watching all you guys try all of our new prototypes of boards with our new wings that we released is an awesome experience, and seeing how everyone individually has gelled as a group is really, really cool. We've got probably the most solid group of humans that I've been able to be a part of, not just in the foiling world, but my life. You know, what I've done. It's pretty rad. You guys are all super talented, and everyone brings something really cool to the table. So yeah, it's been a great event. Super successful for us. We had a brand new downwind board that no one had ridden yet. So we had...
That was designed by Mike and Eric?
Mike and Eric had put that together. It was V2. We had done V1 back before Bali, and made a few revisions on this, so to be able to get everyone on it, and the feedback of how well that thing rode, it was easy to get up, paddled well, stability, everything was great. Yeah, so that was, I think the highlight was really being able to watch all you guys downwind, and go on those runs as a group together, and to be able to see how that worked. I think our biggest success was the new board that Eric had shaped called the Quiver Killer. I love the story behind that, and I think it was just a fluke, but...
That's like a little crossover between a kind of step-up prone board and a wing board, would you say?
Yeah, so Eric developed it. It was a 67-year-old buddy of his who was struggling to get up proning, and so he made him a board, was able to get up, pump around for the first time, and that same day he went winging on it and just fell in love with it. I think I had like 4 or 5 boards, Eric said, and now he's down to 1. So Eric made one, a bunch of guys are starting to see that. And I think it's relevant because back home, myself and Kyle Knox, we've been talking about a mid-length. And so this will fill that void of having a mid-length board now. 5.2 by 45 liters, 5.6 by 55. Something to chip into super small waves like a mid-length or a longboard. Or you could even use them as a step up on a bigger day to get in a little bit bit sooner. So I'm really excited to try that out and see. But you know, we're not known really for the wing foil side of things, but to have a board that literally everyone came to was rad.
So there's a few slippery competitors who had their eye on that board, I think.
I think it'll be knocked off for sure.
Yeah, so I think like it's cool to see that, you know, that the boys came up with the idea and, you know, probably first to market, but I think there's going to be definitely a few that are following suit after seeing, which I found was really cool about the trade show. Like obviously people are shown, so the trade show is to show off the products that every brand's releasing for next year, right?
Right.
So yeah, there was a lot of people like from different brands coming over other people's tents, checking out gear, like not so much like, you know, like going over there, taking photos and being like, we're going to copy this. Like probably that was going on, I don't know, but like, you know, we were all respectful and, you know, I personally was going around trying everything I could, which I thought was really rad. Like Dom, my boss, was like, please try everything because we want you to see what's out there, what works, what doesn't. You know, that information is gold. So it was really cool to have a supportive team who were like pushing me to try everything, versus I've seen like a few other, you know, friends and ambassadors of different brands where they were like, they couldn't ride other people's gear. And I kind of felt sorry for that because I hope they don't get too tunnel vision with, you know, their brand and what's good, because it's hard to know what's good when all you ride is your own shit.
Yeah, I mean, what better opportunity do you have to go to a spot for 3 days and go ride the best foils in the world?
Yeah.
I mean, that would take you over a year to do. And just to get your hands on it.
Totally, and like it's so hard to replicate conditions and have some sort of consistency when trying gear. I think it's good and bad in a sense that Hood River is like, when you're downwinding, it's kind of, the conditions are too good, so everything works. You can ride a surf foil and paddle it up and it will work, or you can ride like a super high aspect thing and it will work. It is kind of good and bad at the same time because it doesn't really push the limitations of the foils. But what I was trying a lot there, which I find is like a really good way of testing a product, is I was just doing flat water stuff. So like, you know, I was trying all the different boards. My favorite definitely at the trade show was the KT. For if you're talking flat water paddle apps, that board is by far the front runner of the group right now. Super impressive with what Keith's doing. So yeah, it's that Dragonfly model. So I was using that board majority to paddle up a lot of the harder foils. So I was able to demo Oscar's race foil that he used in the M2O. I think we started off with a 930, and I was able to get that up, and then he gave me the one that he actually used in the race, which I think was a 750, and I just got that up at the end. So, and I've never paddled up a foil that small before. So using, you know, the new Dragonfly and like, you know, the new Armstrong gear, which is like, you know, they put a lot of time and effort into that stuff. It's pretty amazing to see what can be done now, especially for like, you know, I'm not a James Casey or an Oscar Johannesson, so it's cool to see that gear is giving people like me the opportunity to get up like that. So I found that super exciting to be able to try that. I was also able to try Kane's new prototype that he's developing with KT. That thing was an 800 square centimeter foil, like very similar to the Armstrong design, which is pretty uncanny because both of those guys were throwing pillowcases over their foils in the lead up to M2O. I was there in Maui, like it was hilarious. Like every time we did a downwind run, the covers were on the foils before they got to the water, and as soon as they got to the other end, the covers were on again. So it was cool that they had the covers off for the trade show and people were able to use their stuff, and yeah, it was rad. Like I used Kane's foil and it was 800. I was able to paddle that up, no dramas as well. So yeah, it was exciting, and like I think it was really healthy that all the different brands were open to letting, like, you know, people like me who are aligned with Unifoil to try their stuff, and they were actually dying for the feedback, which was I thought was really nice.
That was cool.
Yeah, like they were like
Adrian and Army and even Keith. You know, everyone was really stoked that we're open to try another brand stuff because
totally.
You know, yeah, we just need to. It's a great show.
what did you think was the most interesting product that you've seen there that was probably, you know, the next step forward in foiling?
I mean, it's really hard to tell with the foils because it's changing so fast. And just from the quick perception, like visually looking at everything and seeing, you know, it's hard to really look at a foil and say, that's how that's going to work, or the theory behind it. I think the boards are really what stuck out to me the most, just because I love board design over the years.
Yep.
Coming from my surf background, a lot of unique boards. Some of them.
Whoa, fuck.
Wide load was a wide load. Yeah, I think the boards are going to be one of the bigger things that is really going to change quickly again this year. The downwinding. We saw some pretty amazing prototypes. I know you got to ride one of them, but I think that's the direction we're going.
I think the one thing that I was really stoked for Mike and Eric with was I was lazy and I didn't bring over my AMOS board to Hood River just because it would have been so hard to lug us up around, and I got charged bloody $230 excess for just bringing my prone board over. But I said to the boys, because I use the new Unifoil, I think it's 7.5 by
18.8, 100 liters.
Yeah, 100 liters, and like I usually ride 108 liters, so a little bit light on the volume for me, but like totally fine. Like I wasn't sinking it or anything. But I said to them, the first thing I was like, wow, you guys have made something pretty special here. Like the stability on the board, even though it's not like really narrow in the scheme of things now, like it felt so stable. And the thing paddled up amazing. The very first day we went down because there was no wind, and we did some flatboard paddle ups, disconnected from the water really nicely and smoothly. Balance points were really nice. The angles on the board were really smooth. It wasn't like a truck through the water. It really wanted to move fast through it. And yeah, I was just saying to the boys, for the numbers that they fell on, because it's so hard these days to create a design, you know, prototype it, and then bring it to production. But usually by the time this all happens, it's irrelevant because there's already a new design coming out. Absolutely. And people don't want that. And I feel like what a lot of the smaller brands are lucky to do, well, not smaller brands, but people still who have access to shaping bays and to make customs, they're the ones like on the forefront because they're able to push out stuff versus people going to production in China or Thailand. That turnaround time,
delays a lot of that.
Delays a lot, and then usually, like in the downwind scheme of things, the designs are moving so progressively forward that I think, I don't mean to slag like a few brands, but a lot of brands are bringing out boards now, but they seem old and irrelevant. I wouldn't be buying some of those boards and designs. But I said to Eric and Mike, this board right now in this time is the exact dims that I would get if I was to get a custom tomorrow.
Rad.
So I think the boys did really well with nailing those numbers. Also just the feel of the board, like I think Eric was telling me that he really wants to keep the board feeling super surfy. He doesn't want it to turn into a complete, M2O race board because, you know, he lives in Florida. He's not about racing. Like he wants to surf the shit out of it. He's a surfer. So I think the boys did really well there landing on those numbers and the feedback we got from people trialing the boards too. They were happy.
Yeah, they're super stoked.
Really happy.
Back to what you're asking, what like highlights. I think another highlight for me was that doing the show the past couple years, it's primary. AWSI started as a kite and windsurf trade show, and it's evolved over the last couple years to become more of a winging, foil, kite show. And this was the first year that I saw, I think there was maybe only 2 brands that had kites there. It was primarily all wing foiling. So one of the first days we were there, I was shocked to see how many wingers there are on the water.
Yeah.
It blew my mind that everyone's transition primarily now, from what I've seen, is everyone's gone from kite to winging. And a lot of guys now that are winging are interested in demoing the downwind boards because it's so easy to ride. And it makes, from a shape perspective, it makes a lot of sense where you've got a sail now, and now you've got a board that's almost like a yacht. Super easy to get up, very stable, light wind board. Our quiver killer we were talking about, paired with the 125 was the most demoed 2 products of the show. I mean, everyone loved that 125. That thing was made by Eric to be a faster, or have a higher top end speed, be a little looser than the 140, and just take that 140 to the next level.
Totally.
And I don't think we really tested that thing as a winging wing.
Yep.
But it ended up being the most popular wing of the show.
Yep.
Paired with that board, which is amazing.
Totally.
Super unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like had its roots in the like windsurfing, kite surfing, because like coming from just like a full foiling background now, when we got there, like I seen a lot of brands that were like, you know, they had big tents, big like groups of like, you know, employees and stuff, and like the one next to us was North.
Yeah, they won brand of the year.
They won brand of the year. They were huge. I didn't realize how big that brand was, because in Australia, no one has a North foil. You don't see any North like gear getting around. Right. So it was just really interesting to see the presence of particular brands that, you know, maybe aren't big in Australia, but like maybe they're big here. And like I just learning about all the history about the brands and stuff, and you know, this brand turned into that brand now. And who do you think, you know, besides Northwind and the brand of the year, who had the biggest presence?
I think for our side of things, for like where we play in, you know, KT was pretty small, just like we are, but there was a lot of hype around those guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I think North, obviously, I don't know if there was really anyone else that really had a lot of hype other than maybe Armstrong with their new downwind wing, and their pump wing is what I heard.
Yeah, I wasn't actually I didn't try their pump wing, but I heard it was I think like moving forward to next year, the things that I learned at the show is that, you know, if it's gonna be no wind, I think it's super important to have a downwind board that's extremely good at flat water pumping, because that's what we were seeing in front of us. Everyone was flat water. Yeah. And then to have, you know, the wing, like we were lucky this year we had the 200 progression, which is an amazing flat water pump wing.
Light wind.
Yeah. So I think it's important to kind of showcase these products, because that's what you're seeing all these athletes who are there trialing, because like it would be nice to have the event over at the Hatchery, because then you could see people surfing right in front of you, but you're not really seeing like right in front of the event site. It's mainly just like a lagoon. There's no real bumps. Like there's wind, there's people, you know, mowing the lawn with their wings and their kites going back and forth, but you can't really see them putting the foils through the real test. But yeah, I think it was, besides KT's board, there really wasn't like a crazy good flat water board that was getting those crazy race high aspect foils up. Yeah. So I think maybe that's something that we could try and maybe grab for next year. Yeah. Like just even if it's not for like to move a lot of numbers, it's like it's more just like a marketing
for the
skill.
use. Like the ease of use, because I saw so many people came by the booth that wanted to grab our downwind board just to try a 200 and see if they could even get up. I mean, I'd say 75% of the people that came by to demo stuff had never downwinded or paddled a downwind board. So it was pretty interesting to see that desire, that interest in want to learn to do it. I mean, that was my first time learning to downwind, and you know, I got out for a few short 30-second, you know, goes, but I'm hooked. I want to do it when I get back home. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see the trend. Like I heard from a local last year, it was majority wingers out the Hatchery, and then like he said there was like maybe, you know, 10 guys who were doing the sup downwind, and then he said this year there's 50-50. There's 50% people downwinding on sups, and then there's 50% winging.
Easily.
So it'd be interesting to see if next year the trend keeps following and less wingers and more sup downwinders. So
for sure. Well, I think next year is going to be, I think we'll probably see those two brands that had kites there will probably be gone, and it'll go just to wing and downwind. You know, we got a lot of slack from a couple people there about not having something that works in windsurfing or kiting, you know. But that's the rad thing about the show is there's literally something there for everyone.
Yeah.
We feel a niche that no one else has, and this relates back to what you're saying. Like, it's rad to see all these other brands that are there and the history behind them. You know, we are one of the newer brands in the foiling world. We don't come from the kite world or the windsurfing
And we're not trying to be.
And we're not trying to be. All these other guys have had 30, 40 years experience and relationships in this world. So when they transitioned into wings and foils, it was an easy transition into getting market share. Where we all come from the surf background, that's what separates us from every other brand there. And so we all want to ride waves, whether it's behind a boat or winging or downwinding or proning. That all translates into what these guys all want to do. So for us, we get sometimes that little, you know, snug or whatever, but at the end of the day, people write our stuff and like, shit, we didn't expect that.
Totally. I think we pretty much covered everything. Anything else?
No, I think that was good. It was just good to really see everyone get together and as an industry, and that's something too that I noticed about this show that's different than anything else. Is, man, the whole foiling community is so supportive and open. I mean, you and I both come from the surf world, and if we were to do that at a show, I mean, people would be hiding boards and fins and not letting you try anything. Or
Totally.
Like, you know, you get the cold shoulder from time to time, but everyone was so open to have a conversation, wanting to learn about how you set up your board and how you tune in, what the conditions are and what you feel, and be able to share those things only helps the industry grow. Which is amazing. I think that's one of my favorite things about the foil industry.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't change, honestly.
I hope it doesn't either. I think it'll stay pretty communal. It has a lot of the same feels as the SUP industry did back in the day when we were doing a lot of the SUP races. Everyone's there hanging out, no matter what team you're on or what you ride. Everyone's friends, sharing tips. It's not like going to surf. You know, surf contests are like that too, but it's cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely had a great experience. Like, you know, Axis boys let me ride with them. Like, Adrian gave me the new Spitfire to trial on one of the downwinds, and Armstrong was lending me boards and foils, and it was just cool. Like, you know, there's underlying little like jokes and stuff, but at the end of the day, they're like everyone's cool. So
yeah, and everyone knows everyone. That's, you know, like, at some point, everyone's all work together and cross paths, whether it's a different industry or whatnot. So it's really cool to see. I think for Unifoil, we got some really cool things to come in the next 18 months. Next year will definitely have a larger presence with some more foils that are relevant to be more specific in that Hood River Gorge area. So, I mean, stoked to have everyone come out and check it out for next season.
I reckon that's it.
Yeah, sweet.